Ratings worst nightmare just came true because it was just announced that Caitlin Clark will be out for the rest of the season. She's only played 13 games this season, and her most recent injury, which happened back in July, was a groin injury. The craziest part about all of this has been the reporting around her injury. The team has never given her a timetable for return. Some fans were even speculating that they've just been stringing fans along the whole time because they know that ratings and attendance would drop once they announced that she's out, which is also so ironic that they announced it.
Okay, this is wild. The day that football season starts, the WNBA just got slammed with the reality check nobody wanted, but everyone absolutely feared. And at the absolute center of it all, Caitlin Clark. The numbers are in free fall. The league is spiraling. And let me tell you, ratings are plummeting faster than a clumsy dunk contest. Ticket sales, they are evaporating. And that supposed growth era we heard so much about is starting to look like nothing more than an overhyped illusion. The only franchise keeping things afloat, the actual anchor of the entire league, was Indiana. But here's the kicker. That anchor has been ripped away, leaving the rest of the league's hopes sinking like a ship taking on water.
So it's official. The most heartbreaking news for Indiana Fever fans that could come of the season, but Caitlin Clark will not be returning to the 2025 WNBA season. She took the liberty of posting it herself because there were many people asking to hear from Caitlin Clark, to hear how she felt about the entire situation.
It all unraveled with one single announcement. Caitlin Clark's season-ending injury has completely flipped the league's historic rise narrative, turning it into a flimsy marketing pitch that literally no one's buying anymore. The shine is gone. The buzz has absolutely flatlined. And executives aren't just nervous, they are in full-blown panic mode. This isn't just a slight concern, it's sheer desperation spreading through boardrooms and front offices like a wildfire. The WNBA built everything, absolutely everything, on one single star, and now they are staring straight into their worst nightmare. So, comment down below, who do you think is to blame for all this mess? Let's go.
I hope to share a better update, but I will not be returning to play the season. I spent hours in the gym every day with the singular goal of getting back out there. Disappointed isn't a big enough word to describe how I'm feeling. I want to thank everyone who has had my back through all this uncertainty. This has been incredibly frustrating, but even in the bad, there is good. And the way the fans continue to show up for me and for the Fever brought me so much joy and important perspective. I'm so proud of how this team has only gotten stronger through it.
The league's golden ticket, the player who made every arena, every broadcast, and every highlight genuinely matter, is officially done for the year. After weeks of vague updates, dodged questions, and whispers about timelines, Caitlin Clark finally confirmed it. I will not be returning this season. Just one sentence, but it detonated like a bomb. You can drop the Fever dream, the illusion of a miraculous comeback. There's no schedule, no return, no safety net. It's a glaring absence where the league's brightest star once stood, and the ripple effects, oh, they are massive. And they are definitely not stopping with just Indiana. This panic is absolutely engulfing the entire league.
Norm for the WNBA is being largely ignored by the media. Largely ignored by sports media. Not considered a real professional league, to the point where people didn't even know it existed until CC22. That's just a fact. You can't believe how many times I have people come in the chat and say, I didn't even know that there was a professional women's basketball league.
Let's kill the chatter, because the data doesn't lie and we need to break down these numbers. When Clark was on the floor, Indiana's games averaged an astonishing 1.26 million viewers. That's the kind of attention most leagues only dream about. But the moment she went down on July 15th with that groin injury, ratings nosedived to just 400,000 per broadcast. That's a devastating 70% collapse. And keep this in mind, those were numbers fans still tolerated, holding on to the hope that she might return. Now that she's officially done for the season, that cliff just turned into a canyon. This isn't just a dip, it's an abyss. The WNBA isn't just hurting, it's staring into a void it honestly can't climb out of.
Fever and Clark saying that she tried to get back on the floor. It appears that she just ran out of time, not able to get enough confidence back in her body as the season wraps up and the playoffs are likely about to begin for Indiana. I mean, it's a gut punch that basically encompasses an entire season of them. The Fever have lost so many players to injury. but obviously none bigger than Clark. And there was such a wait for this second season after her magnificent rookie.
Without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA simply looks hollow. It doesn't even feel like a professional league anymore. Honestly, it feels more like a struggling support group, desperately trying to convince fans that they still matter. The league had a golden opportunity to prove it could hold interest while she was sidelined. But the reality was brutal. NBA TV ratings without Clark plummeted another 40%. The contrast is absolutely staggering, almost laughable when you think about it. This isn't just one superstar sitting out. It's the entire foundation of the WNBA being exposed as nothing more than a house of cards.
This has been a huge disaster as far as public perception for the WNBA. An entirely new group of people started tuning in to this league for one player and one player only. In fact, so many new people tuned into this league, the viewership for the Caitlin Clark games largely surpassed anything else going on in the WNBA. I would argue that the amount of Caitlin Clark fans are at least...
Commissioner Kathy Engelberg can parade around calling her the most popular athlete in America all she wants, but that crown comes with enormous baggage. When your entire sport's relevance lives and dies by one player's health, every single injury instantly becomes an existential threat. Decades of effort to build a stable product just evaporated in a blink. Clark's arrival was the league's ticket to actual relevance. And now imagine the playoffs. Seriously, imagine the finals without her. Those broadcasts are going to look like scrimmages, not marquee events. The Fever themselves are in freefall, sitting in 7th place. Their playoff future already murky. And without Clark, they are not sniffing the finals. This was supposed to be a championship caliber team driven by her playmaking and energy. Now they are a skeleton crew, stripped of their leader, their floor general, and the marketing juggernaut that made them must-watch television. Without Clark, they are just another middle-of-the-pack team. And let's be real, nobody is tuning in for that.
When she was supposed to return versus the Minnesota Lynx, supposedly, and then the Scott Agneses and all them start talking about she suffered a bone bruise in Phoenix. I told y'all it was a wrap. It was done. It was done. They knew it. And I believe they've known far longer. They have known. They've kept us fans in the dark, and it sucks. It absolutely sucks. Man, I was so looking forward to watching Caitlin Clark play this season. Now we have to wait an entire offseason, and we don't even know what's going to happen. They might be a lockout.
And guys, the financial side of this is even more jaw-dropping. Sports economist Ryan Brewer projected Clark's impact to hit an astonishing $1 billion in a single season. And get this, that wasn't just Fever revenue. That included merchandising, massive TV contracts, tourism, and the undeniable cultural wave she brought with her. Her brand extended far beyond just basketball. She was a global phenomenon, selling jerseys faster than Nike could even produce them and packing NBA-sized arenas night after night. Now compare that to the rest of the league, where players are still trying to turn Instagram likes into actual sponsorships. The gulf between Caitlin Clark and everyone else isn't just about talent. It's about cultural gravity. She's not just part of the WNBA economy. She is the WNBA economy.
She knows just how much she means to everybody that buys those tickets. I mean, I would say at least like 90 to maybe not 95, but like 90% of the people in arenas were there to see Caitlin Clark, which of course they became fans of the Fever afterwards. But you know, Caitlin Clark is the draw. And then here's this one where she's actually in her street clothes. And yeah, these are, you know, pretty heartfelt photos, her in the huddle with her teammates. But I gotta say, this was quite a year. I mean, there came a certain point where people, including myself, were just like, what is
And now the panic is absolutely palpable. Think about it. Players spent the entire 2024 season actively targeting Clark, throwing elbows, flagrant fouls, and trash talk like it was their full-time job. They spent more energy trying to knock her down than building themselves up. And now they are staring into half-empty arenas, wondering why the spotlight doesn't follow them. That petty jealousy is about to be exposed for what it really is, a complete waste. Because Clark, The very player they tried to bully out of the game is gone. And with her goes the league's relevance. Here's the bitter truth. The WNBA built its entire future on Clark's shoulders and then absolutely refused to protect her. She endured more physical abuse than anyone else in the league. A staggering 17% of all flagrant fouls this season were committed against her. That's not a coincidence. That's a pattern. And the referees under Angelbout's watch let it slide. The result, the league's only true superstar is now on the shelf. And the WNBA is stuck holding the bill. We're talking empty seats, cratering TV numbers, and sponsors quietly wondering if they just bought stock in a sinking ship. This season has been, well, it's been
in a complete train wreck. This season's been a complete disaster. We got the GOAT, who only played 13 games, missed basically the whole season. DeWanna Bonner scammed us. Natasha Howard basically scammed us. Stephanie White's a liar. Amber Cox is a liar. Kelly Krauskopf's a liar. Now we have to go a whole offseason with the front office we don't trust, we don't believe in, we can't believe anything they say, and we don't know what's really going to happen with Caitlin Clark.
Let's cut through all the noise and get brutally real about what truly unfolded during Clark's absence. The league tried to spin up replacement narratives, manufactured rivalries, forced drama, but fans simply weren't buying it. Angel Reese rivalry games without Clark, empty seats and deflated hype. Chicago Sky contests that were supposed to ride Clark's coattails barely drew 6,000 people. Numbers closer to a sleepy high school gym than a professional sports league. And keep this in mind, the Sky-owned arena holds just under 10,000. They couldn't even fill their own house in one of the biggest markets in the country. The illusion shattered completely before that June matchup when news broke Clark wouldn't be suiting up. Within 48 hours, resale ticket prices collapsed from $86 down to a measly $20. That's not a market correction. That's a collapse. The desperation was visible everywhere. Franchises gambled their schedules on Clark, moving games to larger venues just to accommodate the demand she created. But when she went down, they were totally stuck. Take Washington as Exhibit A. The Mystics shifted a game to Baltimore to handle the expected Clark-fueled turnout when she couldn't play. Ticket prices nosedived from $41 to a shocking $1. That's not a typo. A single dollar could get you in the door. That's not demand. That's humiliation. It's also undeniable proof of a hard truth. When the WNBA puts all its eggs in one superstar basket and then refuses to protect her from reckless officiating, they're left scrambling when that basket inevitably breaks.
Caitlin Clark was hurt after that Liberty game. That's when they should have said, we need to wait this out until the All-Star break. But instead, they worried about their ticket sales, TV ratings, and all this stuff. So they actually had Caitlin Clark come back a couple weeks earlier than expected, and I think that's the real reason why she's out. They mismanaged this entire season. I don't respect the GM. I don't respect the president anymore. I really don't respect the coach. They all lied on false pretense. That's all they did. They kept lying and lying and kept stringing Caitlin Clark like a carrot on a string. And all these fans kept going to the games hoping.
And here's where the knife twists even deeper. Clark's season-ending announcement hit right at the most critical point in the calendar, playoff positioning. With her, the Fever were championship contenders. Without her, they're a shell of themselves clawing just to survive the first round. But how do you contend when your best player, your offensive engine, and the one person filling arenas coast to coast is done for the year? You don't. The Fever's fight is now just damage control. And for the league, that's an absolute nightmare. The psychological fallout is somehow worse than the physical. Fans who built travel plans, bought expensive tickets months in advance, and made Clark their reason to finally tune into the WNBA are tapping out. That line echoing across social media is exactly what Angelbert and company feared. If she's out, I'm out. That's devastating. The casual fans, millions of them, who arrived because of her college heroics, gone. The corporate sponsors who signed checks expecting her to be front and center, they are rethinking those investments. The TV networks that stack schedules around her, they are scrambling for replacement content. knowing full well that no amount of Liberty versus Lynx advertising is going to bring clock-level eyeballs.
For the Fever, but also for the entire WNBA. Caitlin was out with an injury back in June. Viewership dropped over 50% across the league. That's the kind of effect that she has on things. And it seems like from her post and how they announced it, Caitlin was the one that was trying so hard to get back on the court. She has traveled to every single away game. She's always meeting with fans, taking photos, signing autographs, doing all of the things because she knows how many people come out specifically to see her. But I'm really interested to see what viewership and attendance looks like now that it's official that she's done.
And that's the nightmare scenario nobody at League HQ even wants to say out loud. The WNBA Finals without Caitlin Clark could be a total disaster. Networks that were counting on record-breaking playoff numbers are now preparing for ratings craters because fans weren't tuning in for who wins the championship. They were tuning in for who could beat Caitlin Clark. Without her, the drama is gone. The casual fan's reason to care has evaporated. The ripple effect here is massive. ESPN and ABC, who already watched their ratings plummet by 55% during Clark's first absence, now face the prospect of an entire playoff stretch without her. That's not a dip. It's a black hole. These networks built coverage around her, leaned on her, and milked her for headline. Now they are staring at a postseason that risks complete irrelevance. And here's the kicker. Clark doesn't need them nearly as much as they need her. That's the balance of power they never ever saw coming.
It has been a full circle moment for the WNBA. With all the chatter of Kathy Engelbert saying, oh, if one player gets injured, one player, well, you have it. That one player got injured. And now you have it. There's no conversation around the league. No positive, no negative, no conversation at all. The only media talking about the WNBA are the content creators, are the YouTubers, are people with podcasts, people with their own shows, etc., etc. But you go on to ESPN, nobody's talking about the W. You go on to Fox Sports, nobody's talking about the W. The WNBA has managed to turn off a...
But let's take a second to truly appreciate the brilliance of Clark's timing. She could have dragged this out, kept dangling hope that maybe she'd return for a miracle playoff push that would have kept fans invested in the league pretending to breathe. But instead she ripped off the Band-Aid with surgical precision. One announcement, one line, and the dream is over. It was the death blow delivered at the exact moment the league least expected it. And honestly, it makes her look like an absolute queen. While Engelbert and jealous rivals wasted energy actively targeting her, Clark flipped the script and exposed their fragility without lifting a finger. The WNBA spent months pushing this narrative that they were bigger than any one player. Clark's announcement obliterated that lot. Without her, the league collapses right back to what it was before she arrived. A niche product with a loyal but small fan base, struggling to fill 10,000-seat arenas and fighting for ratings that barely register on a network's radar. That's not evolution, that's regression. Clark's absence isn't just bad for Indiana. It's an existential crisis for the entire WNBA. Because the truth is out, she wasn't just their biggest star, she was the whole show. And here's the cruelest irony. This didn't have to happen. It was preventable. If Engelbert and the referees had done their jobs, if they had prioritized protecting Clark instead of letting her be hacked and hammered night after night, this moment might never have arrived. But they did. They let her become a punching bag for jealous opponents. Let flagrant fouls go unchecked and sacrificed long-term stability for short-term ticket sales. Now they've lost the very investment they built their empire on. It's a case study in how to destroy your own golden goose.
Got a couple of things. I've got my dude, Jason Whitlock, saying he's done. He's out. We've got Colin Cowherd saying, you know what? Guess what I didn't talk about on my show this year? The WNBA. Guess why? He just come out and said it yesterday. Because Caitlin Clark was not playing. That's why. He said, I led my show, my biggest, largest national sports radio show in the country. I led my show with Caitlin Clark 6 times last year.
Fans see it.
Fans see it. They are shrugging and walking away. Sponsors see it. They are quietly pulling back. Networks see it. They are bracing for playoff broadcasts to tank. And league executives, for the first time, are staring at the truth everyone else already knew. Caitlin Clark wasn't just the star of the WNBA. She was the product. Without her, there's nothing left to sell. This postseason won't feel historic or groundbreaking. It'll feel hollow, empty, like the heart's been ripped out of the game. And the most savage part, Clark gets to sit back, recover, and watch it all unravel. By stepping away, she delivered the harshest indictment possible of a league that utterly failed to protect her. She's not just the victim of poor officiating. She's the undeniable reminder that the WNBA is only as strong as the shoulders it puts all its weight on. And now those shoulders are gone for the year. The panic is real. The collapse is happening. And the league is left scrambling to figure out how to sell a postseason nobody even asked for. The WNBA is about to learn the hardest truth in sports. When you build an empire around one star, you protect that star at all costs. Angel Boat and her referees failed on both counts. And now they are staring at a product that looks emptier by the day, with no Caitlin Clark to save them. Comment down below who you think is to blame for all this mess. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen and we'll see you in the next.